If you look at our culture, you'll notice we worship lots of things, but the thing that we tend to worship more than anything else is sex. Open your eyes. It is the thing in our culture that people are like, I'm going to build my whole identity on this. I'm going to build my entire shot at happiness on this. If you won't cheer and affirm this one thing, then we're going to consider it as if you've transgressed blasphemy laws. You have to be kicked out of society. Now, why is that? Why is it that more than anything else we worship sex? Because when God created everything, he said everything was good. But when he created the human body, he said it's very good. So this goes back to Genesis. So this is why we do this. Now, verse 24, now we start getting into why what's happening in our culture is happening. Therefore, God gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts. Now, when he says God gave them over, just stay with me, and I'm getting back to this. This is what theologians call the passive wrath of God. There's a difference between the active wrath of God and the passive wrath of God of the Bible. The active wrath of God is when God actively pours out some judgment. Fire falls from heaven on cities. God strikes Ananias and Sapphira dead in Acts chapter 5. That's the active wrath of God. The passive wrath of God is when you look around, God has created sin where sin is a punishment unto itself. That when you go off into sin, you, in the words of the scriptures, pierce yourself with many pangs. So C.S. Lewis wisely said, man, there's only two types of people. There's people who bend their knee to Jesus and say to God, thy will be done. And then there's people to whom God eventually says, thy will be done. I'll let you do exactly what you want. You can wander off into that, do that, sleep with that, affirm that, cheer that. He's going, man, bad things are going to happen. That's the passive wrath of God. God gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts to sexual impurity for what? For the degrading of their bodies for one another. So this is saying when a culture begins to get to its highest forms of rebellion against God, you get rampant sexual impurity and degrading of their bodies with one another. They exchange the truth about God for a lie and worship and serve created things rather than the Creator, who is forever praised. Amen. Now, the next verse I'm getting ready to read, pastors don't even have to try to be controversial. They just got to read Bible verses like this. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural relations for unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. What this is saying is when the passive wrath of God is poured out on people or a society, is you're going to see an increase in participation in and affirmation of same-sex sexual activity. That's like a Bible verse